How you doing, everybody? I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Another fantastic show lined up for you. We give it to you just like this each and every time you watch. We appreciate you and love you. You're watching Open. That's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx to New York City straight to your TV set so you can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, we're joined by the Executive Director of Community Voices Heard. You heard? She's here today to highlight the efforts of her organization, Community Voices Heard, and their sister organization, Community Voices Heard Power, and to promote their Follow Black Women campaign. So make sure you tune in and check it out. We've got it going on for you. And she's here. We welcome her to the show, Juanita O. Lewis. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here today.
Yes. Juanita, what does the O stand for?
So my middle name is Omoshola.
Omoshola. All right.
Yes, my parents are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. So I have a longer name, but that's the middle name.
Juanita Omoshola Lewis. I like it. All right, cool. It rolls. It got that flow.
It does. Thank you.
Juanita, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am originally from St. Paul, Minnesota. Like I said before, both my parents are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And I moved to New York. It'll be 13 years next month. And I've been with Community Voices Heard since I moved to New York and became executive director last fall.
What are some of the issues at hand that you are focusing on? I know you got housing, voting rights, and inequality, healthcare, and unemployment for Black women. And why are these issues so important to you and your organization?
Well, to our organization in particular, we've been around for it'd be 28 years this year. And our organization was founded at the height of the change of the welfare reform laws. Yeah. And the women that founded CVH said, we're sick and tired of people making decisions for us about things that we're impacted by without talking to us, consulting us. And we best know what solutions should be proposed because of what we are experiencing. Mm-hmm. And so the organization was birthed out of that righteous anger to see some real change in our communities around our social safety net laws. And from there, we've expanded to fight for better housing opportunities, better opportunities around job options, how we engage in voting and voting rights and things of that nature. And all of those things are important because in order for us to see real change in our communities, we have to organize together. We have to take collective action to make collective change, to see these policies change, to see elected officials be held accountable, to see some real tangible things happen in our communities.
I like it. And speaking of communities, what communities do you serve?
So we are in 4 places across New York State. We have a New York City chapter. So we're in the 5 boroughs, Westchester County with an office in Yonkers, Newburgh, and Poughkeepsie. And
then you have a sister organization.
Yes, yes. Community Voices Heard Power is our arm that does a lot of our lobbying and our political work. So anytime we endorse candidates, it's coming out of CVH Power. Our Follow Black Women project that you mentioned earlier, where we're surveying 5,000 Black women across New York State to ask, what are issues that are important to you, to us as Black women, and being able to use those issues to create a platform that centers the voices of Black women, of all gender expressions, age, ethnicity, things of that nature. Because we've seen far too often that the voices of Black women are thought of afterwards and only thanked when we come out to vote, because we come out to vote in high numbers. But when it comes to real political policy change, we're not thought of. And so this is an opportunity to really center our voices, to push for those policy changes and to engage the non-engaged. And so a lot of that work is happening in our sister organization that is going to be 10 years old this year.
Whoa, happy birthday to you and many more.
Thank you.
Listen, what can people do to help you out? And what is your organization doing to have a stronger impact in our community amongst Black and brown people in our community?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that we do is just get out there and get on doors. And so clearly the pandemic slowed that down a little bit because we had to make sure we were safe, that our members were safe, our staff was safe. And so last summer, we started going back out door knocking to let people know about the emergency rental assistance program, to not only apply for it, but to be able to apply pressure to Governor Hochul at that time when she did extend the moratorium. But as you know, she did not extend it and it expired. And so
Yeah.
now, almost, I want to say almost over 300,000 families are at risk for eviction in New York State. And so right now we're making sure people know about what services are available to them.
Yeah.
And we just conducted or just co-sponsored a meeting with some of our allies this week about what are the next steps now that the moratorium has expired. So pushing for—
Is that back on the table though?
We haven't heard anything right now. Like our biggest push is pushing for a statewide policy called Good Cause, which would protect tenants that right now they'll be facing eviction. So they wouldn't be evicted just because of the non-payment of rent, but there'll be a whole process that would happen. And then for other tenants that aren't necessarily covered right now, they would be covered under Good Cause. And so because there is no moratorium, families are in limbo right now. So, we're just letting tenants and members know what some of their rights are, making sure that they're talking to legal services and legal aid, and just getting ready to get out there and mobilize folks, because this year's a gubernatorial election and housing is a big deal. And so we're going to be knocking on doors and talking to people about the importance of housing and how that needs to be the center of the governor's race this year.
Is Juanita still running? Kathy Hochul still, of course.
Yes, he is still an announced candidate. And I believe Tom Swazi. So right now there are 3 people who've announced that they are running for governor of New York State.
There you go.
We're gonna be busy this year, just knocking on doors and letting people know what we're doing. And they could definitely check us out on our website, which is www.cvhaction.org. We are going to be having town halls happen along with our door knocking, our voter education projects. So there is no shortage of work this year.
Knock on those doors. Those doors will open up for you too.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you so much. You give Sharon Lead a big hug and a virtual hug and a kiss for me.
I will definitely do that. She's fantastic.
Juanita O. Lewis, Executive Director, Community Voices Heard. You heard? You got it going on right here. We're open. And we'll take a break. We've got more coming up next.